G'day, well, I'm Michael Redding, coming to you live from Myriad 2018, proudly brought to you by Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast. We're here with Paul today. How you doing, Paul?
Yeah, good, thanks. Been a great few days. Been really good.
So what's been happening for you at Myriad?
Well, look, for us it's about coming and exploring some of the new technologies, to talk to our clients and to look at the hot trends, to experience what other people are doing, to make some connections, and that's been really valuable for us as a business and for us as individuals.
And where are you guys based?
So we're down in Sydney. We also have an outpost in New Zealand where we're doing some quite interesting work with a real diversity of clients. Our business, Agent Reality, is a sort of a specialist immersive media company, specialising really in augmented reality engagements and kind of mobile first engagements. But we'll work anywhere in the world. So here in Australia and in New Zealand.
Yeah, so why did you so wait, before we go into that, what is Agent Reality?
Sure, well, so Agent Reality is an immersive media company. We specialise in mobile-first augmented reality engagements for brands and agencies typically. One of our specialist technologies is a geolocation technology. Yep. So for us, we're very engaged to help brands and agencies tell their stories with some of those emerging technologies.
Yeah, awesome. And so give the audience a bit of background on, what is AR, if they don't already know what it is.
Sure. So AR, or augmented reality, is in effect a digital overlay of the real world, and that really in this day and age can be anything from platform augmented reality, like game mechanics using mobile phones, things like Pokemon Go. A lot of the audience will have heard of, I'm sure. Yeah. So amplifying that to help brands and people tell their stories. Yeah. Slightly different from virtual reality, which tends to be a fully enclosed immersive experience. Yeah. The AR world allows you to experience those digital overlays, typically with mobile, at the same time consuming the real world.
Yeah.
So it's very amazing.
Yeah, so basically, in short sense, you're putting a digital environment around your current environment.
Completely, yeah.
And you're still aware.
Absolutely,
yeah. Where VR is, you're not aware, you're in another world doing completely different stuff.
Yeah, completely. And look, for us, some of the early forms of augmented reality could be considered to be quite gimmicky. What we do as a business, and I think what a lot of people are now doing by way of a trend in AR, is putting an aligned platform alongside that. So maybe putting an e-commerce site alongside the augmented reality element, maybe putting a game mechanic alongside it, maybe putting out a social share element. And that, for brands and agencies in particular, is giving the AR value, and it's giving it utility. And of course, crucially for those businesses, it's also allowing them to take contextual data around user activity. And that's obviously crucial to allow brands to prove things like ROI, return on investment, and then to make business decisions based on metrics, which is really crucial.
Sorry, step in just
sure.
a little bit. We're moving out of frame there, getting excited around AR.
We did.
So, I'm involved in VR and all that sort of technology. I love it. What type of stuff are you creating? Like you explained, you're working with Vivid in Sydney?
We are. We're doing a lot of event work at the moment because of, say, we're doing a lot of work in the geolocation space.
Yep.
So we're really interested in augmented reality experiences that are hyper-local and that allow people to engage in a very contextual way.
Yeah.
So festivals like Vivid down in Sydney, we're very heavily involved in building out Destination New South Wales' app and putting in some content in around that, which you'll have to wait and see for that, but come down to Vivid. If you're down in Vivid, download the app and check that out. That's kind of exciting. Festivals, events, sporting arenas, places where there's a critical mass of people, where a brand might want to tell their story, is a great space for us to be playing in.
Yeah. And it's super exciting. Like we were talking about stats befose, $255 billion market for AR, and I think VR is about $205 billion.
Those stats sound about right. You can read all sorts of different stats, but the point is that I think augmented reality is going to be incredibly disruptive. I think it's going to disrupt a lot of industries, from heavy industrial industries right the way down to the entertainment sector. And one of the reasons that I love working it is that it's bringing together really disparate skill sets. So in our business, we're working very closely with people that come from gaming backgrounds. We're working with traditional software developers. We're working with user experience and user interface designers, marketing people. So I love what I do because it's bringing together the technical and the creative and the commerce, packaging that into something that can be offered for business. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And, one of the questions I think I have for you is, and I think I just lost it. Train of thought's gone. I play around in, the use of storytelling for starters. What other applications can AR be used for? It's a little bit clunky at the moment.
Sure.
How far do you see it going?
Oh, look, you can get kind of dystopian about this. At the moment, it's still, because of the technology and because some of the limitations of the technology, we're still in the world where most AR is delivered via a mobile phone. Yeah. And that's good because it gives scale, which perhaps VR doesn't. But I think ultimately we'll find ourselves in a world where AR is delivered beyond the sort of headsets that we're getting at the moment. So you might be aware of the HoloLens, you might be aware of what Magic Leap are doing with what they call HMDs, or head-mounted displays for augmented reality.
So that's sort of moving into the mixed reality field a bit.
Yeah, and kind of even like wearables. And I think if you take that to its logical conclusion, I think we'll end up in a world where the technology allows us to deliver that in glasses that are not dissimilar just to normal sunglasses, or possibly like those, or possibly even contact lenses. That's a way away. That's probably a decade away because there's computational issues around that, hardware issues. But I think we're going to enter a world where, and I talk about this a lot often, where we're experiencing augmented and virtual reality in what I'd call an invisible interface, kind of matrix-like. So everything is happening here in front of us. And I feel like the mechanic that we do at the moment, grabbing for our phone out of our pocket and pulling it out, will feel quite old-fashioned, ultimately. I think it's going to be a lot more intuitive, and that's where I see it going.
And you see the market and people picking it up, because if you talk about the Google glasses, that didn't turn out too well, and they're probably a bit early, right?
True, yeah, I think it was a bit early. I think, and Google Glass in particular has now been repurposed solely for enterprise, so they've seen that product in a particular different sector. Magic Leap are obviously looking at doing something in the States which is a lot more mass market for obvious reasons, and they talk about a world of immersive computing, of which the invisible interface and the holodeck, as people call it, will be part of that. But no, I can see it being incredibly disruptive. I can see it having applications for education, for entertainment, for industry. So all of that's very exciting because it presents opportunity, which is really cool.
And any advice for anyone sort of wanting to sort of get into this AR, VR, XR space? What advice would you give in terms of entering the market?
Look, I think educate yourself as broadly as possible. I think when games were just the thing, everyone was then very interested in just training or learning a particular platform. But now a lot of people were developing games on things like Unreal Engine and Unity, so people would have focused on that. My advice would be to keep educating yourself in that, but also be really aware of other platforms for augmented reality, things like Wikitude, things like Vuforia. Look at what Apple are doing with AR Kit, what Google are doing with AR Core and how that's integrated. Try and give yourself a really holistic education and be prepared to get stuck in. That's it's got to be the only advice I can give.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks
and be sure to keep watching for more awesome content coming to you live from Myriad 2018. It's heading to the end of the day.
It is.
Any plans for the rest of the day?
I'm going to find a bar and go and have a gin and tonic.
Yeah, nice.
Keep to the English stereotype. That's me. Yeah.
Love it, mate.
That's good.
Have a good one.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure meeting you.
You too.
Catch you out, guys.
Cheers.